When the cloud cleared, Orpheus stood in chains in front of the thrones of Hades and Persephone, the king and queen of the underworld.
What a rude spirit you are to come to my kingdom before I called you.
But I'm not a spirit. I'm still alive.
So you are. We can take care of that problem quite easily.
Hades raised the scepter and was about to cast some terrible spell on Orpheus when the musician cried out.
Wait, Your Highness. Please. I've just come for my wife. She was killed on our wedding day. It must have been a mistake.
A mistake? A mistake? Do people ever tell my brother Zeus that he made a mistake? Do people come brawling my brother Poseidon for favors? No. How come I get stuck with all the losers? Prepare for your fate.
Yes, Your Highness. But first, let me sing you a song.
Then Orpheus performed the most beautiful song of his career. His heart made sweet music as he sang about his love for Eurydice. When he described her beauty, Sisyphus stopped rolling his rock and didn't care when the boulder went crashing backward. Tantalus forgot about his hunger and thirst.
The song moved the king, though he didn't want anyone to notice.
Well, musician, your song has entertained us. We don't get many road shows down here. I'm prepared to give you an easy punishment for the rest of eternity. Now you'll have to swallow an ocean and...
No, Your Highness. I'm sorry, but I can't stay. I want to bring Eurydice back to the land of the living.
Why, you ungrateful little bug? Think about that easy sentence I was going to give you.
Just then, Persephone spoke up. Her face was covered with dark veils, but Orpheus could tell she was beautiful. Her voice was strong, but gentle.
Wait, dear, I know that song touched you. Please consider this human's request. Show that you can be more merciful than your awful brothers Zeus and Poseidon.
They are quite crude, aren't they? Zeus throws thunderbolts all over when he's angry, and Poseidon causes tidal waves and drowns sailors when he's cranky.
What about letting Eurydice go?
But if we let one spirit go, all the others will want to go back. We'll be rulers of an empty kingdom.
Make an exception this one time, in the name of love.
Love?
It's not such a bad word. You should know it. Remember how madly you loved me? Cupid must have sent an arrow right through your heart.
Even Orpheus knew the story of how Persephone had become Hades' wife. Once, when Hades was spying on the upper world, he had fallen in love with Persephone. He kidnapped her and brought her home, enraging Persephone's mother Demeter. Demeter, the goddess of farming, went on strike, refusing to allow any crops to grow until she got her daughter back.
Things got so bad on Earth that Zeus had to step in and make a deal. Persephone would spend half the year with her mother and half the year with Hades. As a result, Greeks say when Hades is with Persephone, humans enjoy winter and fall. When her daughter is with Demeter, the Earth moves into the seasons of spring and summer.
Persephone's argument in defense of Orpheus won the king over.
Yes, my dear, you're right again. After all... Oh, wait, sorry. We'll let the singer have his bride back. After all, everyone makes mistakes. Listen, Orpheus, you can have your wife back on one condition. You must not look at her when both of you enter the light of the upper world. Is that clear?
Of course, Great King.
Then turn now and start your journey home right now before I change my mind. Eurydice will walk right behind you. But remember, don't turn around.
Orpheus followed the king's orders. At first he wondered if Hades had tricked him. Was there really anyone behind him? He was about to turn around and check when he heard light footsteps behind him.
He retraced his steps past Cerberus. The dog had never seen anyone except Persephone leave the underworld. Now he saw a human and a spirit leave together. He turned his 3 heads to the side and barked 3 times in confusion.
Guys?
Then Orpheus saw Charon, loading a fresh boatload of spirits in the underworld. Orpheus walked right into the boat and sat in front, leaving plenty of room for Eurydice to sit down behind him.
Return trips from the dead. Now I've seen everything. What's next? Tour groups?
By the time they reached the far shore, Orpheus was in actual pain, waiting to see his wife.
This trip is taking forever. I don't think I can stand it.
As they climbed up through the dark cave, taking them back to the upper world, the seeker's mind started to play tricks on him.
I hope that Hades gave me the right spirit. What if there were 2 spirits named Eurydice? Maybe I should just peek to make sure. No, I'm going to keep my promise.
Higher and higher they climbed. With each step, Orpheus found it more difficult to keep from turning to look at the spirit behind him.
Eurydice is the love of my life. Imagine what it will be like to hug her again, to kiss her. My loneliness will be ended.
Soon, he could see the light of the upper world at the top of the cave. Their journey was almost over.
I can't stand it any longer. We're just about there.
As he was just about to burst into the sunlight, Orpheus turned around. Just a step behind him, still in the dark shadows of the cave, he saw his beautiful wife. She looked at him with loving eyes.
She was like a beautiful picture. But then suddenly the color began to vanish, leaving only a black and white outline. The black line became fainter and fainter until they too were almost gone.
Wait, Eurydice, this was just a mistake. It was only a peek.
He tried to throw his arms around the fading image, but his arms passed through the air, leaving the singer hugging only himself.
Desperately, Orpheus went back down the cave to try to enter the underworld once more. He played his lyre for Kara and the boatwoman yet again, but this time it didn't work.
I'm sorry. I'm under strict orders from the boss. He says he gave you and Eurydice a second chance. There are no third chances in the underworld.
Alone and heartbroken, Orpheus made the long climb back to the upper world. When he arrived, he had no interest in music or anything else.
But gradually, Orpheus did start playing again. His group of admirers began growing to its old size, though everyone noticed that all his songs are now sad and lonely sounding.
It was a sad ending for the once happy musician, but it did have a bright side. When it came time for Orpheus to cross over to the underworld for good, Charon gave him a free boat ride. Cerberus barked 3 times and wagged his tail. Most importantly, Orpheus was reunited with his beloved Eurydice, and they say his music made the sorrows of the underworld that much easier to bear for Sisyphus, Tantalus, and all the other spirits.